River Falls Public Schools have served the community well by consistently offering outstanding educational experiences to students. The schools here are among the best in the region and continue to be a source of community pride thanks to our hardworking teachers. But in a rapidly changing world, they can't do it alone. There are teachers in River Falls who want to try new, bold projects, integrate cutting-edge technology into their classrooms, or develop unique community partnerships, but just don't have the resources. There are also many community members who care deeply about education in River Falls and have a desire to give back to the educational institutions that gave so much to them, but aren't sure how they can help. With this in mind, a group of parents, alumni, business owners, and educators came together to form Forward, the River Falls Public Schools Education Foundation, to help remove funding as a barrier to originality and progress in the classroom. The mission of the Forward Foundation is to encourage excellence and innovation in our public school classrooms by awarding grants to teachers seeking resources for specific projects or materials that support the strategic goals of the foundation and the school district, would not occur without additional funds and are not supported by the school budget, have the ability to be continued in the future to have a lasting impact on the River Falls School District. In its very first year, the Forward Foundation awarded $8,000 in grants to 13 teachers across the school district and is prepared to give even more grants in the next cycle.
Oh my gosh, I was so excited when I received the grant.
$100 grant from the River Falls Forward Foundation, and we used that money to go towards our first annual Regional Character Education Conference.
I applied for a grant with the Forward Foundation for iPads for my classroom, and I received $800 to buy 3 iPads that I'm using in my classroom this year.
We wanted to get a program called Smart Music and also have the availability to have students use it a little more accessibly in and out of our classrooms. So the grant was for computers, for laptop computers, and also for this program to put on these computers, which allows us to do a number of different things.
The Forward grant that I applied for was for a digital microscope, and allows students to, as you can see behind me, view the specimens that they're looking at up on the screen. So instead of me having to tell them where it is and then look in their microscope, they're actually able to see on a big screen what they're looking at, and can then go back to their own microscopes and find what they're looking for.
I applied for this grant so that I could put together a podcasting project. My vision is, or was, to purchase a series of iPod Touches for my students, along with a set of microphones, so that they could go out into the community and gather and record the stories of people living in the River Falls community, to then publish those interviews as podcasts and to archive them on a website, so that we ultimately have a collection of stories from the River Falls community that can just keep growing and growing as the years go on.
Here I applied for a grant that would allow us to sort of branch out with the Senior Tax Exchange Program. Last year we had 15 participants, and we were looking for different ways to fund additional participants this year while we rolled the program out district-wide.
Smart Music, the things that Smart Music will allow us to do, it's a really interesting program. It's got smart software involved in it. It actually interacts with students. Students can sit down and it can do a whole bunch of different stuff. You know, it can be something as simple as the students playing scales into the software. The software will analyze and show the students what they can do better, what notes they missed, what notes they got right. It'll give an assessment. So Smart Music, some other things that Smart Music does, it's got solo ensemble accompaniments. A student can practice their solo ensemble music with it. It will play the piano background. It'll even listen, and if the student speeds up and slows down, it'll follow them.
I think this will impact students greatly in my classroom. This is the first introductory science class that they have, where they're working with this kind of material. And this is kind of the pivotal moment where they can discover their interest in science or not.
I was teaching 3rd grade, and I noticed that my students, they think differently than the way I think or most adults think. When they want answers to questions, their first instinct is not to go to a book or to a magazine or to an encyclopedia like I might have done when I was in school. Their first instinct is to go to Google or to look it up on the internet. I have had students who are struggling with basic facts, and giving them a timed paper pencil test is stressful and time consuming, and they don't do very well. But there are a huge variety of apps that practice basic facts. So there's a race car basic facts app. There's one with these goofy numbers with eyes, and the kids are just completely engaged. They're not worrying about the timing. They're not worried about the math. They're just having fun, and they even say that they're playing a game. They don't say I'm working on basic facts or that I'm doing math. They find it that it's all fun, and so I've really been able to reach some of my kids who are maybe struggling in a content area and give them that reinforcement and that remediation independently. They can do it on their own. They enjoy it. I have to drag them away from it as opposed to trying to, get them to stay there for how long I want. So
the response of the students was awesome. They were really excited to have the new technology in their hands. This is just one of the 4 recording studios, I guess, that I was able to purchase with the grant. It's an iPod Touch complete with a microphone. This past couple of weeks have been experimenting with this brand new technology. They wrote poetry. They recorded the poetry using the microphones and the iPod Touches, and they published those podcasts via YouTube and a publishing wiki. So that work is now out there in the public, and they're really excited to use it.
I've already gotten feedback from parents that have said, "Oh, my child came home. They were talking about this app. What is it? What is this thing that you have?" Because they have an iPad or an iPhone or whatever at home, and so I've been able to share some of those resources with parents.
The student response has been wonderful. There were moments when we were concerned about how some of the students might feel, especially those that were getting some additional assistance during the lunchtime hour last year, because it's not always fun to maybe miss a recess or not have lunch with your friends. But what we found was exactly the opposite of that. The students looked forward to the STEP participant coming in to work with them. They were excited to introduce them to their class many times. Many of the other students in the class wanted to know when a STEP participant could help them.
We have a really big economic gap at Rocky Branch, and so there's some of our students who have their own iPads at home. There are other students who, until they came into my classroom, had never seen or touched an iPad. And so I think for some of those students, the fact that they now have a level of comfort with technology that they'd never had before and would have never had if they weren't in this classroom is huge. The point of the organization is not to just fund things that are doing the same old, same old. It's to look at projects and find the ones that are best practices, to find the ones that are going to, raise the bar, find the programs that are going to help our students improve and be ready with 21st century skills and for those jobs of the future that haven't been invented yet. And it puts the resources and the tools that teachers need to get our students there in our hands.
So I could talk about the STEP program all day long. It's just a great program, and we're lucky to have the money that we received from the foundation.
I think a great way that people in River Falls can help our schools get there is by contributing to organizations like the River Falls Forward Foundation.
The help is so appreciated, and so it's so directly impacting to students. The students will get benefits immediately.
I would just like to say that I can't tell you how much I appreciate and am grateful for this grant. This is a project that I would never have been able to even dream about if it wasn't for the grant money received from the Forward Foundation.
If I had a message to potential donors, it would be that your impact is more than you could probably understand with our students. We have very limited resources, especially at the middle school level. Our budget is limited. And this is something that I could never have purchased on my own or with my school budget. And something that is this impactful is just huge for these kids. This is a piece of equipment that can be used for many, many, many years. That's thousands of students that you can have an impact on.
And without your contributions and the contributions of the staff, parents, grandparents, community members, it would be very difficult for us to continue our character education without your support. So I'd say donate. It's being put to good use. So.
The foundation is poised to award another $8,000 or more in a round of grants in January. But to maintain this level of giving, we need to develop a long-term funding strategy. To do this, we need to raise $300,000 to create an endowment that will support these grants long into the future. Is this a big project? Absolutely. But in our minds, nothing is more important than ensuring River Falls students have every opportunity to continue to receive an exceptional, forward-looking education.